Welcome back to the Barbershop Show, live from Carter's Barbershop here in North Lawndale. We're here every single Friday at noon, and you can join our conversation by giving us a call at 888-635-1112, or you can find us on Twitter at Chicago Reporter. We have a little bit of online traffic from human shop. There's comments, the names are coming in, it sounds like, of all these people that should be our sheroes.
Yes, there's a flurry of hero names. So we have Margaret Burroughs, Gwendolyn Brooks, and then with an exclamation point, Amina Matthews, who is in the great movie The Interrupters.
Yeah,
Margaret Burroughs.
Margaret Burroughs, yeah. I think too, just to throw one in, because she was really tough. She's passed on Atlanta. Although she was tough.
Yeah, Margaret Burroughs passed on a couple years ago too, I think,
Yeah,
right?
she did.
A couple years ago. So it's Black History Month, and the Barbershop Show's day-long practice. She went to the Daily Center to ask people if they believe Black History Month remains relevant in their lives. This is important.
Come on, Nick.
More issues.
Don't celebrate it at all. I think it's an awful concept. I don't think that we should have ever start celebrating anything black. I think black is a bad word. I think it shouldn't be put out there against our people, or used with our people, for our people, or against our people. Because the amount of time and giving, like month of February is only 28 days, 29 days. So in order to really
a leap year.
I think it should extend a little bit longer. Certainly haven't been very still have some people who remember the spirit and the soul of it.
See, Tim Payne was saying he was the work up. Tim Payne was saying he was the work up.
We're coming up soon.
We want to go straight into the thing.
No, so I really thought my character. The whole name is really titled Black Culture.
Coming up in like 10 seconds, 5 seconds, right now.
Well, you know, the interesting thing about the
No.
boxes, you can see here different opinions. You don't always agree. Our heads will go,
Their opinions.
But those are opinions that people are certainly entitled to.
No.
Today on the Barbershop Show, we're discussing the life and legacy of the civil rights pioneer, Edward Wells, and we're joined by Michelle Duster, who is the great-great-granddaughter, and also by Christopher Manning, who's an associate professor of history at Williams University. And also joining us now is a famed sculptor who lives here in Chicago, and whose name is Richard Hunt. You are certainly welcome. I'm glad to welcome you to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be with you.
We're going to talk now about the plans underway to commemorate Edward Wells with a monument. I guess the question we want to ask everybody is, how do you feel about memorializing Edward Wells and teaching young people about it? You mentioned, Michelle, earlier that people just don't know. They just don't, well, you live in Edward Wells? Oh yeah, okay, that's a project, right? But I mean, beyond that, in terms of knowledge, a lot of youngsters and a lot of people who are a little older than that, I really have no idea. So do you think that having this monument is a great step forward?
Absolutely. One of the things that really I find interesting is to give perspective on this is the city of Memphis has something like over 70 ways of memorializing Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was the leader of the Klan. And if you can have that many monuments to one person who represented one thing, why not have one to represent somebody else in a different perspective of our American history? So I think the fact that there was such a large housing community named after Edward Wells, and it is not here anymore, there really should be something else, at least one small thing to help people remember that she was here. And I think a monument is a good way to help people remember who she was, what she was about, and where the housing community once stood.
So Richard, you designed this monument. So can you tell us a little bit about what you designed?
Well, yes, but first I would like to say, you know, I'm one of those people who's a little older, you know,
Born older than.
than most of you here, and I can, you know, remember Ida B. Wells and other projects in the African American community, largely on the South Side. That's where I grew up. Matter of fact, you know, Bronzeville, Woodlawn, Inglewood. You know, over the years, I mean, that's most of my early years were in Inglewood. But for instance, I spent a lot of time like on 31st between what was in South Park and, you know, Lake Park.
Was your dad in a barbershop?
That's right. I feel very comfortable being here. I might stay and get my haircut. Yeah, Hunt's Barbershop on 63rd and near Racine. Yeah, between Racine and May.
Do you feel like your history and growing up in the South Side and around Ida B. Wells helped inform your design?
Well, yes. I mean, and as a matter of fact, just around the corner down the street. I mean, from the site, I can look at what used to be Lincoln Center, Community Center, where I went. Was in the youth orchestra and various other things that they had there, and of course there were friends who lived in Ida B. Wells' home who were proud to live there, and then, you know, like I say, I was born in 1935, so in the 40s, 50s, and as you talked about as a historian, I mean, in those early years, people were proud to live there. You know, they'd say, I live in Ida B. Wells, sure. You know, and Roosevelt, you know, various places on the South. And as you say, well, another thing is that the buildings were 50 years old, and so I mean the combination of the aging of the properties, the changes in the demographics, and in the public housing policy, all that had an effect. But now, in this renewed area on 37th Street and the Langley Median, is this commemorative, and I like to think about it as a place, because we're thinking about several elements. You know, not like a single monument, but three elements that will provide opportunity to have images of Ida B. Wells and text that put her words, you know, in stone, actually engraved in granite, you know, so for people to see and read and see images of her, and then a sort of sculptural interpretation in my personal style that, you know, reflects on her, you know, stature, and which is larger than her physical stature, but will have a, you know, a real presence in the community, but a place, you know, with a presence that recalls, you know, her spirit and legacy.
It sounds like it's going to be educational as well.
Well, that's the idea. Yeah. I mean, one, you know, it's kind of interesting, you know, when I talk to people of my generation, obviously people who are interested in Black history, that, you know, that she's very much part of the way we think about our history, but you know, 20 years from now, we'd like to have, you know, I mean, all of us won't be around to remind people of this legacy, so we'd like to have something that maintains its presence.
If I'm looking at this, so we know that it's going to be 3 different features, and it's going to be sculpture, and it's going to be granite, and some text.
Well,
so
yeah.
if I'm looking at it from the outside, what am I going to see? Can you give us a sneak peek?
Well, I mean, through a process where you can laser etch into stone, there'll be, you know, images, you know, that show, you know, the photographic likeness of her. There'll be text panels, you know, they'll have quotations, and they're arranged in this median, you know, so that as you'll kind of enter like a space that's sort of her space, and move around and you know, read and see and experience something of her legacy.
Do other people consult with you regarding the creative process? I mean, in terms of what their ideas or thoughts are, is it strictly the artist's concept? I mean, does the family have any input or?
No, yeah. Well, yeah. What has happened up to now, and it's continuing. It's not like everything is like, while it'll be in stone, it's not already set in stone. You know, the process though of developing a commissioned work, you know, from an artist, any artist, you know, generally begins with some group of people who want to do something, you know, contacting an artist or several artists and deciding on one, and then looking at like where it's going to be. That'll influence like the physical development of it. You know, if it's in a park like setting like this Langley median is, it's one thing. If it's in the middle of a downtown, you know, public space, it's a different thing.
Sure.
Or on yeah. So anyway, there's sort of developing both the criteria that the site imposes, and then developing it according to either the person, the event, or whatever elements in thought or action. You know, no. Anyway, give rise to a series of ideas that then are made over into three-dimensional things.
Is it funded already, or can people still?
Well, there's some funding, but the process is going on. There was the funding to develop the plan, and then there's like the commemorative committee is working on developing the total funding package.
So how much is all this going to cost?
Well, we're talking about $300,000 in that range.
And how much has been raised so far?
Well, we'll have to ask the commemorative committee co-chair. I'm not the accountant for the project.
Is there any?
I'm putting a plug out.
Yeah, well, sure, but I'm just yeah.
Is there a proposed date of, you know, when the project would be finished? Do you think you have a timetable?
Well, I mean, I think it's a year or so out in terms of Right.
Well, one of the other things that I guess a lot of people in Chicago will be familiar with, and I would imagine you guys saw this, was one of the best known works that Mr. Hunt has done, and that's Jacob Black at the Woodson Library.
Yeah, Carter Woodson, who named Negro History Week way back, and you know, while a week wasn't long enough, some people we hear don't think a month.
Now, Michelle, you're keeping track of the funding for this, correct?
Yes.
How much needs to be raised?
Yes, I'm the co-chair for the IDB Wells Commemorative Art Committee, so I am extraordinarily involved in doing whatever we can to raise the money for this project. And so with as Richard mentioned, the budget is $300,000 for this project. And to date, we have raised about a little over 10%. And so any kind of donation that anybody wants to offer is welcome, anywhere from $1 to, if anybody wants to write a $270,000 check, we would definitely be okay with that.
That would be
Richard has jokes today.
Let me ask you, Chris, what about in terms of projects like this and monuments to people who have made a great contribution to Chicago? What comes to mind? Seminal, it was a struggle just getting something from the South who founded Chicago.
Well, I mean, the thing that comes to mind for me most is Harold Washington Library. It's an amazing library. I remember when I first came up here in the early 90s, going to graduate school and just hearing about Harold Washington when I was a young person, and actually seeing the library, the immensity of it, and the artwork that's in it within it itself. I think it's just amazing. So for me, that's a real seminal project because it's both sort of useful for the community and has its artistic merits as well.
And so, Michelle, you have the final word because you're the great-great-granddaughter.
Oh, okay. Well,
not unless you want to. Really, you know?
Can I get the website?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you want to know more about the monument project, the website is idabwellsmonument.org.
Can people donate online?
They cannot donate online, unfortunately. We don't have that apparatus, but what you can do is download a donation form and send a check. It has to be written out in a very specific way. and that's, you know, unfortunately just the way things are, but it's a tax-deductible donation, and that's part of the reason why we need to have a check in our state. We need to be able to track things from a tax standpoint.
I don't want to call anybody out, but what about the African-American movers and shakers here in Chicago who have, you know, some substantial
Means.
right? I mean,
Not Gabrielle Kelly.
I mean, is there an outreach, you know, to them specifically?
Oh yeah, I mean, we've already done a letter writing campaign, and we are going to have a fundraiser on March 7th at the Cliff Dwellers Club, which hopefully we will have a nice crowd for that.
Is it the same website for the information?
Right. Well, we have to put that information on the website for about the fundraiser, but also you can call 773-382-6115. You need to actually talk to me to get more information about all the efforts.
Great.
Fantastic. This has been episode 64 of the Barbershop Show, brought to you live every Friday from Carter's Barbershop, 3622 West Cermak, in Chicago's North Lawndale neighborhood. I want to thank our guests today. That was